finishing up my notes here. How's everybody doing? It's been a minute, huh?
Okay.
Yeah. Can anybody hear the music in game? I don't hear it.
I can hear it.
I don't hear it either.
Yeah, let me refresh. That might be on your end, Nox. I'm refreshing. Oh, there it is. Alright. So, I don't think we're going to have a recap for today. Really?
No comment.
Somebody forgot they were supposed to do a recap until I reminded them about 10 minutes ago. So, a little late for that. Let me hop over to the right page. Alright, so last time, the party met together with the round table. After discussing the various leads they've found, they brought their learnings to the round table, and some decisive actions were made almost immediately. The king of Avalon, Kalen Lionheart, called for aid to your investigation. So he said that he'll provide any aid that he can within his power to help this investigation go smoothly. He's also pulled in some of his own resources, such as the Veil Guard, or I'm sorry, the Veil Bound, which is the sort of royal spy network, as well as the Circle of Sirius, which is another sort of royal agency within the nation of Avalon, responsible for divination and information gathering. And they've also called upon clerics of Presidium, the god of protection, and what was the other one? My notes here somewhere. Pax, the god of peace, to step in to go to Lowtown and to the other low-income districts, Brickstone, parts of the Starlit Chasm, to keep an eye on the population and make sure that the rat plague is not spreading, while simultaneously providing healing to anybody who's been attacked, or searching for any curses that have been spreading throughout these districts. So that's the one thing. He also called upon the Avalon Academy to provide any aid to you that you might need. So that was one of the things that was called upon. Additionally, based on the party's suspicions, he called for the arrest of Dr. Navarro, Vicente Navarro, based on some suspicion that he might know something or might have some tie to something that's happening. And so he's been wanting, people want to bring him in for questioning. And then the immediate arrest of Tenera Ravenican, Malakar's father, for suspected ties to the vampiric rat plague, which, based on what we know of Tenera, he's able to control his progeny through some sort of a mind control. And so the theory is that perhaps he's controlling these rats, forming a sort of army of undead vermin. So that's sort of the main sort of takeaways from the meeting. There were a few other things of importance that were mentioned there, sort of things that were happening outside of Mirrodin at the time. But um, having concluded this meeting, the party or the round table has sort of dissipated. People have left, and you are left in the now mostly empty round table hold.
Just a point of order. Before the king of Avalon leaves, either I want to arrange a meeting between us as a team with him to see what better way we could organize whatever forces we need from him, or just if that's too much, I want to ask personally for a regiment of his forces to accompany me to the Silver Eclipse at some point. We had a day, right? That a
Sure.
meeting was supposed to be happening at the Silver Eclipse. You
Right.
provided us a date, a
Yes.
by then date, essentially.
Right.
What was
So
that day? Was it Monday?
the silver light. I don't know. Silver light.
Silver Eclipse.
Silver eclipse. The silver eclipse. By the way, I put. Let's go to the map. I put more labels on the map. But the silver eclipse is having its grand opening. I believe was on Wednesday. Thing that's happening on Monday that you might be thinking of, and let me just ping it so everybody's familiar. Silver eclipse here. Casino having your grand opening on Wednesday. And then back in Mirrodin itself, the thing you're thinking of that's happening on Monday is there is a tour for prospective engineers at Harabel Curiosities.
Okay, so Harabel's Monday, Silver Eclipse is Wednesday.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I will actually, I don't know if it's worth role playing out, but I will also tell the king about, I mean, we've already told him what's happening Monday with Harabel's, but if we're
just gonna casually off-screen a conversation with the king.
Yeah, about just having some muscle.
The king will not be available to speak. We'll say, but you were
Whoever
able to
our point of
maybe
contact is.
point of contact is like, yeah, we can set up a meeting for this to discuss next steps. And we'll say today is what, Sunday? Saturday. Yeah. He should be able to meet with you tomorrow on Sunday.
Okay.
So if you're not taking notes, do so now. Meeting with the king Sunday. Harabel open house Monday. Silver Eclipse grand opening Wednesday. Okay. Good point. Good point to make note of. All right. Any other points anybody wants to address as far as stuff to do here in the roundtable hold? I'm just writing down a couple notes here real quick.
Chris Redfield, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I asked the same thing last time. What's Forge doing? Get him out of here. This is your backup character? Yeah. I do not have the capacity to remove him from game because technically Justin's the DM. Apparently not.
What am I supposed to be saying?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'll tell you about it later. Anyway, so you'll meet with the king on the following day. You are otherwise left to your devices. It seems like everybody sort of runs off in different directions to go like work on different things. You know, the College of Nature is looking to recover any rat corpses. The College of Arcana, led by Dean Zinnia Larkspur, is trying to find any traces of curses throughout the city. But you've sort of been given free reign again to decide what you want to do next. For example, that Tanera Vinikin has been captured and needs to be interrogated. But you could leave that to somebody else to do. Or you could just leave the whole investigation for the more senior members of the round table to do and just say you don't want anything to do with it. So what do you all choose to do with your time?
I will default to Malakar, given it's his father.
I want answers.
Okay.
Provided that doesn't take up the whole session, because who knows? I'll send word that I'd like to meet with Caden.
Okay. Yeah, Caden will. You send him like a message on Sending Stone, and you'll get a message back. Good. I actually have news to share with you as well.
Is it just with me or with the entire group?
For the investigation, it's regarding the missing miner. We seem to have found an answer to that.
Very well. I cannot speak for where the group will be in... how many hours do you want to meet? How long from now?
It is not urgent. Take your time.
Before the day is over.
All right, and he'll just send you an address to meet at. Same cafe that you met at before, in the Meridian Marketway, not far from the train station.
I figure it's not something the whole group needs to go to, so I'll just relay the message, whatever he has to tell me.
Okay. All right. And as for Tanera, one of the king's men comes over to you before leaving, Malakar, and says, "I thought you should know, in case you want to be there personally. Duke Cassian Varillo has personally taken your father into custody. He is being prepared for questioning, but has agreed to self-isolation." And
self-isolation?
He nods. Well, that's what we were told by Duke Varillo. I suppose you'll have to see for yourself.
Suppose I will. Thank you. And yeah, Malakar's gonna do just that. He's gonna go see for himself.
Okay.
Seeing is believing.
All right, Malakar is going to go to the Duke. Is everybody going to go with him, or is anybody going to do something else?
I'm gonna follow him.
I will also... How far is where we're going? Would I know?
Yeah. Let me put you on the map.
I suppose what I'm asking is how much time it would take.
Yeah, so to get down to the city below and then get up to the Nocturne Bastion, I don't know, it'll take you an hour.
Okay, I will also go. Provided Malakar wants everyone to accompany him.
Too late now.
Well, at this point, it
Fair.
seems like the most important lead that you have at the moment.
Yeah, I'll go with him.
Okay. So we are going to the Nocturne Bastion. In the Merlin's Watch, which you can now refer to the fancy titles on the map. The air turns colder as you ascend the hill towards Nocturne Bastion, its black spires piercing the supernatural mist like daggers. The towering estate is eerily quiet. The usual patrolling death knights are absent. Only the howling wind greets you. As you approach the gate, the thick wrought iron gates creak open without a sound. And beyond, the threshold of the manor itself yawns open to you, as one by one candles flicker to light, illuminating a path, ushering you inward.
And Malakar will take a deep breath and he's gonna march onward.
All right. You walk through silence and shadow, through a stone hall lined with marble busts and lifelike portraits. Too lifelike. The eyes follow. The sensation of being watched grows unbearable before it suddenly ceases, and you reach an inner guest wing. Here, 6 knights in blackened ceremonial armor stand motionless. Behind them is a reinforced oak door overlaid with swirling glyphs of sealing, faintly pulsing red like a heartbeat.
A heartbeat?
Yeah, the glyphs. It's like a magically sealed door.
Is this like a cell door or is this the entrance?
This would be so. You've come into this manor. The the door opens up like into a grand hall. Candles light the way, leading you into a side wing of the manor.
Okay.
And in this wing, you see there are knights standing guard over this door, with that seems to have some kind of warding glyphs on it. And you can piece together that this is where your father is being imprisoned.
I'll look to the knights. They're well armed, I assume.
Yeah, they almost look not even like knights, but almost statue armored, sort of armor you would see on decoration. You only know that they're the knights because you've seen them outside before when you visited before.
Okay.
But they all wield like great swords and plate armor. And
my character will give them the salute of his country. And he'll say, is this where my father is being held?
And as you speak to the knights, none of them react or respond, speak, or move at all. But after maybe a slightly awkward moment, mist creeps in, coalescing into the pale figure of Duke Cassian Burlow.
I'm gonna need a handout.
Yeah, got you.
Yay, really setting the scene. Malachar just kind of stares at him and blinks like, oh man, what an old trope. I'm glad you brought that old card out for us today.
Look, man.
They teach you that 17,000 years ago. That doesn't catch anyone off guard anymore. He's giving him that kind of, like, nonchalant look.
He says, "You're later than I expected. I was beginning to worry the king had second thoughts." And he walks towards you with his hands folded behind his back.
So why would I have such thoughts?
You are not the king.
Yeah, maybe you misheard there, Malachi.
He said I thought you maybe were perhaps having second thoughts.
The king had second
No, he said he was thinking the king had second thoughts.
Why would he have second thoughts?
To restrain one such as your father is no small act in the world of politics. I should hope that whatever reasoning you have is just.
It is a precaution, no more, no less.
He nods.
And I would hope you would do the same if the tables were ever turned in my position. Us vampires need to be kept in check. I think you understand that better than anyone. We wield a power that no one else should ever have, and we are the select few. A very intricate breed, if you will. But we have to make sure that ourselves, as well as our compatriots, are kept in check for the safety of all others.
He smiles and nods as if in agreement. I see that we are one of the same mind.
My father has done nothing wrong, then he shall be released, and there shall be no other forecomings. Of that you have my word. But I have to be sure, for the safety of my country, and the people here.
Let me begin by telling you why your father was here in the first place.
If I had been told that prior, perhaps he would not be in the cell now.
He just sort of ignores that and continues speaking. Lord Tenera was with me when the summons arrived from the king, discussing the unpleasant situation brewing in the eastern mountain. I thought he would resist arrest. Instead, when I mentioned his daughter, he went silent. He looks at the door. He requested isolation. My glyphs, my knights. I don't think he trusted himself. Nor do I. You'll find him caged by his own restraint. But for you, and he looks at you again, Malachar, I'll unbar my gates. Just tread lightly. Blood may run thicker than water, but it burns just the same when spilled.
I have no intention of harming my father. Despite the fact that him and I do not see eye to eye, I have no hatred nor desire for his death. I wish him to do better. He is my father.
He nods, sort of an acknowledgement to your resolve, and he waves his hand, and the glyphs fade. He'll step aside.
That's not to say I wouldn't mind having the extra attention. If things go sideways, you close those doors, if I'm in or out.
He nods.
Thank you.
Of course, I have knights posted inside and outside the room as well. He will not easily escape. If it turns out he is guilty.
I certainly hope not. But Malachar shrugs. And he'll start over that direction.
Okay.
He'll, the door's not open, right?
No. He's removed the glyph and is sort of standing by, watching what the group is doing as you all go inside, I guess.
He's gonna stop at the door and just kind of rub his head for a moment, like on his forehead, and close his eyes. He birthed me, but he is not the one who dictates my future. He takes a deep breath and opens the door.
And just a reminder, we got 2 different pictures here, but we'll use this one. Actually, I'll show both of them. Here's Tanner, reminding you what he looks like.
Like to imagine the one that I drew is like the way he portrays himself outwardly, and then if you go into his estate, the one on the right is like a painting on the wall.
Makes sense.
Wait, which one did you draw?
The one that's not as detailed, I guess would be the better way of putting it.
The one of him in the red?
Yeah, the one that I never finished the shading because I got tired. It'll get done one day.
You drew that in the red coat?
I did.
I did not know you were such a good artist, man.
Oh, thank you. I thought that was some of my worst work.
I thought it was pretty good.
I drew Malachar's picture too.
Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know you drew Tanera.
Yeah.
We've got a gaggle of artists of one form or another here.
It's really good.
But he'll step in and just kind of look at him. Father.
Before you do that, let me describe the scene. Lord Tanera Ravinican sits cross-legged at the far end of a dark stone room. Heavy curtains have been drawn across the windows. Also let's set the scene with. We'll use Malachar's theme song here.
I forgot I had a theme song.
Uh-huh. It's just Curses Strikes.
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. Lord Tanera Ravinican sits cross-legged at the far end of a dark stone room. Heavy curtains have been drawn across the windows. A single candelabrum casts jagged shadows over the cold walls. He is dressed in a sleeveless black tunic, hands resting calmly on the hilt of a sheathed ceremonial blade. He doesn't rise. And before looking up, and before you address him, he says, "So, the hounds arrive at last. Come to sniff for guilt, are we? I'd welcome you with open arms, but I find them tied by my honor and by the arrogance of kings." And then he locks eyes with you as you address him, a sneer becoming a scowl.
Very well. I'd say that it is good to see you as well, Tanera, but it is not. Nor will it ever be.
If you'd been doing your duty, if you hadn't been traipsing around playing students, Callison might not be gone. Where were you when your bloodline needed you, boy?
Nearly unconscious because of your tribute.
He
Or did
sort
you
of
forget already?
he sort of grunts and looks down, doesn't really respond to that. Give me an insight.
Alright, give me a second. I am not good at those.
Yeah, unfortunate. Anyone else present is welcome to give me an insight.
Oh dear.
Looks like Odin's our only
Wow.
hope.
Let's go, Odin. Elias with a 13, you get the feeling that Tenera is an asshole.
Oh shit.
Well, you
Yeah,
could get
I already knew that.
Yeah, he's like, I knew that already.
That was my passive insight.
He's like, why do you
it's
think me and Malachar didn't like each other for so long?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
asshole.
Odin, yeah, with a 15, you get the sense from Tenera that he's just piecing things together. Like, what Malachar just said to him is news.
He doesn't know.
Malachar's brows furrow. How could he not know? He gave me a curse and everything.
No, not that. He knows Callison is missing. He knows everything else that happens up until that point, at least. But everything that has happened since, I do not think he knows.
He looks at you as if waiting for you to say something or to question something from him.
You don't remember showing up to my room.
Of course I do. I remember that you were excommunicated, and yet you refer to me as your father.
Correct, Zainera. But that will be no more. You have my apologies. Now then,
He scowls.
this isn't
again.
going to save your daughter at all. This clammed up exclusion. If you want something to happen, then you need to actually try. Now, do you know anything about the rats that are squirming around down in the sewers drinking the blood of innocents?
He shakes his head. No.
So you've never seen, and he pulls the drawing out and shows it to him, like to his face. You've never seen this lab, or your daughter, perhaps, tied up, being extorted for her blood. None of that ringing any kind of bell at all.
Yeah, so as you show this picture of his daughter chained up to being drained of blood, looking on the verge of death, you see his face contort into that of rage.
Temper, Tynera.
I want everybody present to give me a charisma save, as his bloodlust is overflowing.
We are not in good form today. This was not a time to face a vampire lord.
All right, Elias. See what you got.
My charisma, well, sure.
Okay. You're all it's a strange feeling. It's as if the air itself is pressing down upon you. You feel as if your blood has stopped flowing for a moment. You feel your muscles tense. You feel your eyes begin to darken as your vision blurs for just a moment. You feel weak, and then it subsides. And he slams his fist into the ground, leaving a small crater in the stone.
As I said, I do not believe he knows anything, apart from the fact that his daughter is missing. But you are not being completely transparent with us, are you, Lord Ravinikin?
What would you know?
More than you, apparently. At least in this instance.
It's not difficult to do.
I was here seeking allies.
Why? Because you've burned all the bridges with the ones who were truly serving you? Who collected scars on your behalf for nothing?
He
No one
stands.
deserves you. You
He
deserve no
stands.
one.
He stands, and as he stands, he reaches like he's gonna backhand you again. He stops just short, and he peers down over you, and you can see the anger swelling in his eyes. But he stops himself just short, and he turns and faces towards the curtained window. While you were investigating this rat plague, the Wild Heart Peaks burned. Grimshar has been raided. Silverthorn agents walk the forests in furs instead of robes, seeking to blend in. The Rhinemark caravans bearing weapons under prayer cloth. There is a war brewing in the east. A storm is coming to the mountains, and no one's watching the sky. We've been building alliances, reinforcing supply lines. And he turns. If the peaks fall, the east burns. And he closes his fist. Give me an insight.
Everybody?
Yep.
Damn it.
Yeah,
In fire and ash, new growth takes root once more.
yeah. We'll say with Odin and Oral especially, and Snura as well. You get the feeling that these words he's speaking, he fully believes, and he fully believes that they pose the greatest threat at the moment. He doesn't know about the rat plague. He's been sequestered here this whole time. It's the feeling you get. But whatever this threat in the Wild Heart Peaks, he truly believes it is more important than anything happening here.
Tynera, I will see to it that you're released. I hope that your rage does not be the result of everything that burns. I hope it's not too late. And he's gonna turn and he's gonna rip the Ravinican badge off of his lapel and just kind of toss it over his shoulder as he leaves.
You spoke of...
Before Malakar leaves, before you ask your next question, Odin, he's going to tell Malakar, if you find her, tell her I'm sorry.
I'll bring her back to you so that you can tell her yourself. But I'll have nothing more to do with this family. Goodbye, Tynera.
Alright, Odin.
I think Odin has his own thoughts about the personal transaction going on here, but sort of pushes them down for the moment. And as Malakar walks off, he'll pause for a moment to let that sit with Tynera. And actually, I'll watch his face to see what he thinks about that and how he reacts to it. But moving the subject along, Odin will look to him and say,
give me an insight.
Yeah.
Again, anybody else can do one if they want, but he's not the best at hiding his emotions. The moment that Malakar is left and is no longer looking at him or seeing him, you can see his face contorts into regret. Not quite sorrow, not quite anger, but a feeling of regret, like he's made a mistake or he's misjudged something.
Oh, before I forget, is Duke Cassian still here?
He is. You can talk to him after they're done with the interrogation.
Okay.
All right, Odin.
You say your country, your homelands faces an immediate existential threat that is not dissimilar to what is happening in Mirden, and by extension, to a certain degree, is not dissimilar to what is happening in Evoru. We are presently fortunate enough to benefit from the knowledge that there is potentially a greater conspiracy here. And at least with what is happening in Mirrodin, it seems your daughter lies at the center of it. By helping us, you helped yourself in a way. We have reason to believe all of these incidents across your region, my region, and here in Avalon are connected. Or at least I have reasons to suspect that.
He takes in your words, listening. He doesn't have anything to add, so he lets you continue.
No matter what history you and your son may have, you will need each other before the end of this is finished. And if you want to see your daughter alive.
He sits back down. He places the ceremonial dagger back over his lap, and you can see he's trying to calm himself down now. Perhaps you are right. The boy is... He shakes his head. Malakar. He has been untested thus far. But I think he might be right.
So what will you do?
He doesn't answer for a while. He just sort of sits. I will do what I have been doing. I must continue to gather allies. Perhaps not, if not here, then in Evoru, at the king's funeral. I fear that somebody intends to make a play for power. There are too many interests in the Wild Heart Peaks.
There are interests across the whole of Grindal. In whose interest would it be to sow chaos across the world?
He says, If it is an empire, a nation, Rhinemark stands to gain the most. They've been expanding their trade influence east and west, and they've never had strong relations with their neighbors. There have been times in the past where rogue wizards or vampire lords have waged war across the land for selfish means. It's possible that one such villain lies behind these plots you speak of. But it seems too disparate. Maybe an organization, secret society, is working behind the scenes to sow chaos.
Of that I can say I am certain, but whether or not it stems from Rhinemark itself, we have no evidence, and I do not think they will risk a potential alliance amongst those they have attacked if what you say is true. It would only strengthen the bonds between Avalon, Evreux, Silverthorn even, and the Wild Heart Peaks.
He shakes his head. You're a fool if you think the beast tribes can be tamed. They want nothing but blood.
Out of character, where are the beast tribes? Are they Rhinemark, or are you talking about Silverthorn?
Wild Heart Peaks.
Yeah, the Expanse is like uncharted bullshit that is like.
Oh, then I was mistaken. Then I meant Avalon, Evreux, Silverthorn, and Grimshire, not Wild Heart Peaks. I misspoke.
Yeah. The nations of Eastern Lysara have long fought over the resources in the Wild Heart Peaks, but the beast tribes there have kept us at bay, and we like it that way. It keeps war from breaking out. But if anyone were to shatter this fragile peace, I think it would be Rhyme. Silverthorn are too inclusive, and while our tribes within Groomshaw are far from united in goal, they are not so foolish as to wage a war across the continent.
Yet my point stands. Do you think the people of Rhinemark would be fool enough to wage war against a united front between us? If what you say is true, again, we have all been attacked in some fashion.
He sort of shrugs and says, all I know is they have been amassing weapons. To what means I do not know. But we must be prepared for whatever eventuality. What is happening here in Avalon, to me, is a distraction.
I disagree. I feel like it is part of a larger whole. All of these things are happening simultaneously. Not in the same day, but it has been less than a month. Less than 2 weeks.
It almost feels like a year, but it's 2 weeks.
Get back behind the fourth wall. Go on, get.
You mentioned that there were operatives you believe to be of Silverthorn in origin within your territory? And I'll sort of glance over to Elias.
In the eastern reaches of both of our nations. There have been many border crossings of late, and the beast folk have been making more and more excursions into our land. This is an issue that your people will know more about, I'm sure. And he looks at and gestures to Elias.
Can you be certain that these people were, in fact, agents of Silverthorn? And it is not some sort of false flag to sow further chaos?
Yes, based on my own interrogations, I am certain. They, too, like us, fear for some future incursion.
I'll look over to Elias and I'll ask him, just out of curiosity, have there been any major incidents in your homeland as of recently? Within the last 2 weeks, even?
Elias, you probably wouldn't know anything major happening in Silverthorn. Unless you purposely had, taken the time.
No. I respond. Agents of Grimsar and our agents, I usually go back and forth through the borders, trying to get intel. Because we don't trust each other. Just a precaution. But I don't know. We don't mess with wild-eyed pigs. At least that's what I know of.
It is a well-known fact, the history of your countenance toward one another, and my fear is that somebody will serve to stoke the distrust that already exists. Somebody will mean to weaponize it against you.
Shanera nods. This seems likely, yes. It's a powder keg.
I don't have news as of recent, but he put on a smile and says to Tamara, at least I'm enjoying your war. We suffered too much from your own scouts, so I like seeing you basking in dread for once.
He looks like he wants to respond to that, but doesn't say anything.
Enough.
And focuses on his dagger.
Enough. This serves no one, it helps no one.
He helps my amusement, but still, sore.
At the cost of what, Elias?
Anyways, let's move on. But you said, Silverthorn agents were wearing furs?
He's trying to blend in with your orcs in disguise.
That's not a tactic that we usually go for, so unless somebody else in the military gave new orders, we usually don't do that.
He nods. That's what I'm afraid of.
What of a rogue element within Silverthorn's armed forces?
It's as you say, it would only take somebody stoking the flames of distrust between our peoples. You get one person to start a conflict with another, and soon that conflict swells and becomes a war.
Yet we do not know enough to act. And I feel at this moment to not act would be the best course.
He nods. Indeed, that's why I'm gathering allies and information.
He's getting ready to act without actually acting. He's scaling to match their scaling, essentially, is what I'm hearing. Which is a pretty normal tactic when you see your neighbor putting up a fucking turret.
Yet, our enemy is not Silverthorn. I'm speaking, and I say our as if I'm speaking for the whole of Everu.
You may be right, but I would watch your back. Hard to know.
Oh, how considerate of you, sir.
Given recent changes in your nation, I am to understand that your eastern neighbors are not quite so fond of you.
And is it them that you would make allies of, my lord?
He shakes his head. No, I will take whatever allies seem reasonable given the circumstances. And should I find myself in your father's court, or your mother's court, rather, I hope that you would put in a good word.
We shall see. For now, I think the priority, at least my priority, and I believe I can safely speak for Malakal, is finding your daughter and ensuring her safe return. Turn
He
your
nods.
attentions to that, my lord, and look for allies later.
He looks genuinely torn. Like, he's not trying to hide it. Malakar is not here. He's not trying to hide his emotions at this point. This guy, like, you can read him like an open book.
Over the table, I feel like this is a win-win for him. If he can solve the problem of the vampire rats, you know what I mean, here in Avalon, then he would win the favor of at least some of the nobility and people of favor in Avalon. Nobody wants these fucking things running around out here. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like it's a, you know, if you're gonna help us, we'll scratch your back sort of thing, but...
Yeah, I think he has seen a sort of similar sort of logic to what you're saying. Very well. I do not wish any harm to come from to her. This drawing. He gestures like into the air because I think Malakar took the drawing with him.
He did, yeah.
This drawing that you brought me of Callison. What is its origin? I can feel the divine power from within it.
It was drawn by a young girl sick with the Eravina spell plague, the daughter of a doctor who ran a clinic until recently in the depths of Lowtown. The clinic has since burned down, and the doctor and his daughter are missing.
Another seer.
He thinks for a moment. They fled, or they were taken.
It is at this point impossible to discern between the two. But we do know that if they were taken, potentially, Gareth Blackthorn has something to do with it, or the Heralds of Reversion at large. And we've also traced elements of that order into the Starlit Hollow, where we believe they have some potential presence, or the connection is very shaky at best. We were investigating missing persons, and we believe the Heralds of Reversion originally to be responsible for these missing persons, but then we discovered the rats and the vampirism, and then our attentions naturally turned towards yourself, given that it was Gallison herself who told us to follow the rats. We believe you took her and that you were responsible for this plague, but I can see we were mistaken. That being said, we do know of the vampiric presence in the Starlit Hollow. We tried to... well, I didn't, but Odin almost says your son, but he stops himself. Malakal and the others tried to seek an audience with... Wait, no, I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. Am I mistaken? There is a vampiric presence in the hollow, right? There's like a building, or is that where we are now, above the hollow?
This is where you're at currently.
Okay,
but
fuck. What was the
you mixed-
vampiric
you
thing
mixed-
under the hollow? We searched like a
Y'all
village, right?
were suspecting the Tenera, so you led that to the Duke that he was hanging out with. Suspected that Duke. Went to the location that happened to be under the Duke's banner, which was the Red Light District.
The Red Light District, that's right, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is directly below this castle that you're currently in.
Then rewind blah, 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 and substitute everything I said with the Red Light District. And tie in the not Starlit Hollow, the Silver Eclipse, which is where I plan to investigate next, and as well as Erhabel's Curiosities, who seems to be fashioning some sort of parade float or contraption, large mechanical metallic rabbits or hares or something of the sort, and these devices are built with hollowed out spaces that look like they could transport bodies. So in tandem with the missing people, you can form your own conclusions. We've arrived at the similar conclusions.
Right. Where would you put me to use?
Do you have agents that can move within the Starlit Hollow unseen?
He turns invisible. His dagger's floating in the air. And then he reappears before you.
I would set them to work on tracking down the source. Well, depending on what Caden has to tell me. Fuck, I should have met with him first.
It's fine.
I will have further information for you probably later on today. I can guide your hand after a meeting I have scheduled for later.
I will finish my discussions with the Duke, assuming my arrest is rescinded. And then I will look into some of these things you've mentioned. You can contact me through the Duke.
Oh, no, look over at Varela.
He's outside in the hall with Malachar at this point.
Oh, okay. Oh, and I'll just nod to Tenera then.
He looks across the rest of you, pausing for a moment as he looks at you, Elias. It looks like he wants to say something, but he stops. All right. He doesn't say anything else. Unless you question him further, he's done.
Odin will turn around, start walking towards the hall. If Elias is coming with, I'll kind of walk alongside him and just lower my breath, and I'll say, it is not a coincidence that the nations attacked seemingly are adding up to mirror the nations of origin of the people in our little cohort here. Me with Everu, Malakar with Grimshaw. Well, I guess we don't have anybody from Avalon, do we? But, or Mirrodin, but
No.
we're present there. I mean, as students of Avalon, I guess we could count in that way, but
The tower has experienced no such problems.
as of yet,
That is what
It is
I'm
That
saying.
we're aware of.
it is far removed as well, though. But notable enough that I do not think it is off the radar of whoever is behind all this. Do radars exist? Probably not. But you get what I'm saying.
I spoke with the Grand Master just yesterday. Or is it this morning? Today?
Who did you speak to?
The Grand Master? The tower?
Oh yes, that would have been today. That would have been earlier today. It's like around lunchtime. It's like early afternoon right now.
I will say I spoke with the Grand Master earlier today. No troubles to report as of yet. But we will see.
I feel like we are uniquely positioned to help stave off a meaningless war between our own peoples in favor of turning our attention to whatever is really going on here.
Fate works in such ways.
And yeah, Odin will just nod and just keep walking forward towards the hall, towards Malakar
Sure, lady.
and Arellen.
Whatever you say, mate.
The whole prophecy and fate stuff's a little bit above his pay grade.
Everyone just smiles and nods when Nura speaks.
Waiting on that.
I mean,
third
hey, it's
prophecy.
like it's not that we're writing you off. Obviously, you've proven you've got the goods. I don't know what to say.
I don't know what to say about that.
Oh, that's so nice, Nura.
How ominous. Thank you, darling.
I'm gonna put that right on the fridge.
I think Nox flinches every time Nura starts talking because he's like expecting her like turban to come off, her horns to start floating, and her to spout off the next horrible thing that's about to happen.
That's fair. Got Nura PTSD.
All right.
Man, you must
So-
not like it when she uses her starry form.
Back in the hallway, Malakar.
Yeah, Malakar will approach the Duke and he'll say, it would appear that you were correct. He's looking for allies. And I am happy to hear that he is not behind this. As I said before, I don't wish him dead, but him and I do not see eye to eye currently. But that is no reason for him to remain behind bars. He needs to be where he can assist others.
He
I would-
nods.
Like to, on behalf of the order, or he doesn't know about this, so on behalf of the King's order, please just, we're going to release him. He's of no issue, as I can tell.
He chuckles as if, like, it's funny for him to receive orders from you when he is in fact the Duke of Avalon, but he
I wouldn't even really call it an order as much as him just saying, yeah, you were right, you can let him go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry."
yeah, but he nods. It will be done.
And I'd also like to thank you for your diligence and willingness to work with us.
Of course, it is not often that students such as yourselves are allowed to walk the halls of this bastion, but I hope it has been a good learning experience for you.
He nods. Yes, it has been
very good for me to learn of the things outside of what is just around the corner where we are from. It is more civil here, and I'm finding myself becoming perhaps adjusted to the calmness of it all. It's good to see that perhaps there will be excitement either way. Just wish that it were less close to home. He chuckles, if I can even call it home anymore. Anyway, thank you for entertaining us, Duke. He's going to give him a very courteous bow.
And he'll yeah, he doesn't really respond to that. He'll acknowledge your bow, but doesn't really say anything.
Malachar will just take off. I mean, Malakar's one of those people who's like, yeah, we're immortal, but that doesn't mean we don't appreciate our time.
Yeah. He seems to appreciate your respect. All right. Is there anything else anyone would like to do here after your interrogation?
I think if we're forced to pass, or at least if Odin is forced to pass Forello on the way out, if the group as we walk by, Odin will just sort of slow down and dip his head because he recognizes the guy is a duke. So,
yeah. He smiles as if in appreciation for decorum. Not a very, not a smile that reaches his eyes sort of thing, just like a, yes, formality. All right, so you've met with the Duke, with Tanera and the Duke here. What now?
Time to turn into a wolf and sniff out rats for the remainder of the session.
I will wait to hear back from Caden.
Okay, let's do that. So is anybody going to go with you? Or are you going alone? I think you said.
I'll excuse myself from the group and say I'll tell them I'm going to meet with Caden, but it is at a location in Lowtown. I do not know if you're welcome to come along if you want, but I do not think your presence would be necessary. I do not expect to encounter any hostilities.
Over the table was Lowtown where we discovered the rat nest that we found, the one that we captured?
So yes, that's where it was in Lowtown, but also, correction, the place is not in Lowtown.
The tea house? Oh, the tea house was me and Theron. Never mind.
Yeah, yep. You're thinking of the place we're talking about was outside of the train station.
Am I going to? Oh, okay, the golden. Okay, not the Golden Quill. The train station.
Yeah, you went there before.
I remember going to like a courtyard looking for Caden, but never found him.
We started a session there at one point. I don't.
Okay.
There's even like an art for it or something. I don't remember. But it's
yeah, wherever he tells me to go, I'll go.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, Cadence, you arrive to this tea house at the Central Newton station, and he's already sat down, and he waves to you from like a corner table.
I think at this point Odin's moving around alone in Mirrodin. He's all cloaked up, hood up, but he'll join.
Yeah, despite your hood or your disguise, he seems to recognize you immediately as you walk in.
Motherfucker. Spy's gonna spy. I'll sit down and I'll nod at him and I'll say, everything goes well, I hope.
He nods. Well, better than expected.
You mentioned you had some information. I think I might as well, but Let us hear what you have to say first.
Indeed. And he'll pull out a little envelope with like a report in it, and he'll slide it across. And you can see on the front of it, it says case, the Hollowstone Mines disappearance. And underneath the title, it says case closed.
I'll open
Well.
the report as he speaks.
To summarize for you, but you can read the details. Amir and I have been able to track down the missing miner. When Gorvin Dolvin, he was, we had thought he'd been kidnapped or killed, perhaps by your furry creatures. He doesn't say what it actually is. You can see he's trying to keep his voice down as well as he says that. But it seems that our man, in fact, simply abandoned his post and his family willingly, trying to escape debt and a growing reputation as a violent drunkard. It seems he's found work
Let
as
me
a
guess.
custodian.
Oh, no, never mind.
What were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say I almost kind of want to stop Caden and
Let's hear what you were gonna say.
let me guess. A custodian for, and
Go
I just
ahead.
pause to see if he I don't even say it. I think it's in the air between them enough for them to know
The
what
Silver
I'm talking
Eclipse Casino.
about. Not what I was going to say, but intriguing. And I suppose maybe a degree from not being entirely correct, if what I suspect is true. I was going to say a custodian for Heralds of Reversion, some sort of agent for them, but the Silver Eclipse is what I think is the next step down.
There were several other cases like this. On further inspection, there seems to be a pattern. The Silver Eclipse is hiring people behind the scenes, people without an easy trace. Whatever it is they're doing there, they're a casino, but something doesn't add up. In any case, the man is alive and well, as are many of the others who had gone missing in the Starlit Hollow. This takes a large number of our missing peoples off of the list, and he'll pull out another sort of document about the missing people in Lowtown. He'll pull out a map where's all the different missing people's cases, and he'll note which ones have been removed from consideration. And it's pretty much everything outside of Lowtown can now be traced back to this, with a few exceptions. And one of them that stands out to you is the person who went missing at Harabel Curiosities.
Remind me about that person and the details surrounding their disappearance.
I would have to scroll very far in my notes. But essentially, somebody working out of the Harabel Curiosities, the factory, went missing around the same time as these other missing persons cases, so it was thought to be connected.
Is there anything linking the Silver Eclipse to Harabel's?
Out of character, there is. Malachar witnessed one of the large rabbits that were being shown off inside their show floor. One of them being brought into the casino.
Okay. I don't know if I knew that, though. I don't know if Odin knew that. He probably did. But again, there's so much to keep track of.
Yeah.
I need one of the cork boards.
It is actually starting to narrow down. So it's fewer details now.
There's an open house tomorrow at Arabelle's that I plan to attend in some fashion, as well as the Silver Eclipse holding its grand opening Wednesday. I've just come from a meeting with Tenera Ravinikin, and we seem to be on the cusp, perhaps, of cooperating with one another to find his daughter more easily. I thought to set him to the task of commanding whatever operatives he has to simply keep an eye out within the Starlit Hollow, but for some reason I am not terribly trustworthy. I do not find him, even now, still to be terribly trustworthy.
He nods. I think that's wise.
If
Based on the way your friend Malakard describes him, I wouldn't trust him either.
It's unfortunately it is not that simple. There are larger powers at play here than family disputes, as long-standing as it may have been. But he wants his daughter back, that much I can see. So if he's willing to help us in that, I'm willing to facilitate it. But if it would not be too great an ask, do you have those in your employ who could watch those of his who I set to the task of helping find his daughter, or information within the Hollow?
He chuckles. I mean, if you are referring to the Gilded Quill, our investigators are already spread quite thin. Unless...
I am not speaking of the Gilded Quill. Does he have anywhere on him the sun symbol?
He doesn't, not immediately visible. But he gives you a knowing look and nods. So, as I understand it, a great many resources have been moved to help you in this investigation. I suppose I could have my people look into it.
And are you entirely aware of the nature of these resources given to us, and who it is that is helping us?
He looks at you and sort of like, he gets like a smirk on his face, like, you're gonna make me say it? But
I should like to talk to you about that at some point as well, when we have a moment to breathe.
He nods and says, well, perhaps in a more private location.
Odin nods back. If you were not aware before, apparently there is some trouble happening in the Wild Peak Mountains between the Beast Tribes, the people of Silverthorn, and the people of Grumshaw. It seems to... I cannot say for a fact, that is why I'm hesitant to, but I see a pattern emerging where events are taking place across the greater Lissaran region, all in such close proximity to one another, at least time-wise.
He nods. The
And
timing
know-
of this plague and then the death of the King of Eberil. Add to this what you speak of, these growing tensions to the east. It does seem like more than a mere coincidence.
And also no greater motivation that I can see beyond simple instability. Like, there is, as far as I know, there's no political goal here that I can see, apart from whatever long-standing quarrel the people of Grimshaw and the people of Silverthorn have had with one another. There are forces within Everu who have long respected the High Luminary's sovereignty, even if they should disagree with his policies or his ideals. They've always respected the throne. I do not think they would move to assassinate the king. And as for Avalon and Mirden, well, I feel like potentially you would know more about this than I.
He's thinking and pauses for a moment. The only connecting tissue I can consider is the Heralds of Reversion. Maybe not the Heralds themselves, but their call. They're calling for the reemergence of Atomos. This chaos you speak of. Perhaps a mean to try to summon Atomos? Cult worship? He shrugs. Some long forgotten ritual? Villains across history have used various strange rituals to try to bring about their ends. Perhaps it is misguided. Perhaps this is the reason for all of our current predicaments. He shrugs. It's
Above
the best
table,
I
has
can
there-
come up with.
Above table, has there been any talk about the heralds openly in
Oh yeah.
Silverthorn or Grimshaw?
Outside of Avalon, it's hard for you to say.
Okay. But within
you-
Avalon and within Everu, for sure.
You know for sure that there have been talks in Everu because you've heard reports of people talking about it. About the Herald's Reversion.
Okay.
But for sure in the streets of Mirden it is all like people talk about them all the time. Some people talk about them like a boogeyman and some people talk about them like a rallying cry. I mean, you hear it all the time. Like you would even hear it in the academy, just students talking about like if they have a point or something.
I feel like
Their
we're
message
fighting-
has spread far and wide.
I feel like we're fighting ghosts.
He nods. I won't disagree with you there. It's I've worked on many cases, but this one is, well, the scope just keeps getting bigger. But he smiles and points to the note with the missing minor and says, well, in this case, perhaps we've pulled the scope in just a little bit. At least now we know the threat is limited to Lowtown. Perhaps the local regions around it.
I plan to go to this grand opening of the Silver Eclipse with a contingent of King Lionheart's men. Perhaps it would be wise, in tandem with you looking after these Ravinican agents, minding them, essentially, if you have the capability to do so. Lord Ravinican went invisible himself in front of me, but I know there are means of tracing such abilities, or counteracting them.
If you intend to go to the grand opening, I think you're going to need a little more than stealth and the city guard. Or the royal guard. I think a more subtle approach may be warranted. I have a contact, and he's going to write down on a slip of paper for you. and I don't have the name for this NPC yet, but I do have a piece of art for this NPC that I can share. In Gleamward Way, he's a collector of sorts. You might be better served making your way in incognito. It would be easier for you to gather information this way. And it just so happens that this particular grand opening is a masked gala.
A masquerade.
He nods. I believe my contact here should be able to help you get in.
In exchange for...
He seeks curiosities, information, things he can collect.
And are you turning in a favor or asking for one?
Me? Like him?
Yeah.
He's not, he's just giving you his contact.
Your name will not be spoken.
You can mention me if you like, but he'll expect payment nonetheless.
Well, it is a good thing we have the resources of a king.
He
I
give
say
me
as
an
I
insight.
sit with a pocketbook full of 5,000 gold.
Yeah, give me an insight. Let's see, 18. Yeah, every time you bring up the king, you can see his eyes get a little swirly. He's like trying not to let anything on.
Odin doesn't give up the game that he's catching on. He just sits and lets it linger.
Ah. Right, well, I will move the location of our current investigation. I think we'll be focusing on Lowtown. Or perhaps Brickstone. There have been recent talks of rats spreading to the north. They've not reached the inner walls of the city yet, but hopefully we can stop the spread before it gets that far.
I do not wish to take away from whatever work you're doing to counteract the plague, but whatever men you do put on Ravinican's watchers, make sure the watchers of the watchers are not seen. It might be wise to have...
He nods. You've seen my men at work. Discretion is their keyword.
I do not wish to insult.
So just to be clear, out of character, he's placing his personal guard to watch Ravinican, and he's sending the Gilded Quill investigators to Brickstone.
Yeah. I guess if the Gilded Quill guys are the ones who are taking care of the rat problem, at least on Caden's end, Odin will ask Lord Ravinican to set his infiltrator, spies, whatever, to work in the Starlit Hollow looking for any evidence of his daughter, and asking Caden to send his secret guys to watch Ravinican's infiltrators just to make sure they're not up to anything suspicious. Because I still don't trust Ravinican.
Let me write all this down.
Spies to watch the spies, essentially.
Uh-huh. Makes sense.
I'd rather not think about the larger political implications if Odin is discovered to be at the heart of this. Is this my Alpha No Crystal Braves moment?
No comment.
Oh god.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to do here?
that still leaves the matter of the open house tomorrow. What it is that we look to achieve going to Harabel's Curiosities. And I say we, meaning us, not involving you in any of that, Skaden, but it is a part of this, for sure. Hello?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was writing stuff down. You gave me notes to write. He stops and thinks, well, it seems clear, based on our prior investigation, that they are kidnapping people. This is a major issue.
Well, that is what I wanted to discuss. If you have written off most of these missing people as being taken by the Silver Eclipse, who is it that the Harabels have been kidnapping and taking them where to? And we know that the two are linked, but what is the link between Harabels and the Silver Eclipse?
Something does not add up here. The missing miners willingly went to work for the Silver Eclipse. But this person who went missing out of Harabel Curiosities did not seem to be one of such workers. They just went missing. Now, connecting the dots, perhaps someone related to Harabel Curiosities was involved in that disappearance? Or maybe the Harabel Curiosities is simply supplying a means for transport. Maybe they're not actually doing it themselves. But in any case, it seems like they might be tied into some larger scheme.
Do we know?
And seeing the animatronic appear at the Silver Eclipse, it stands to reason that these two businesses are working together.
Do we know who is attending this open house?
He shakes his head. I can get you a list. It will take me some time, but I know it is a gathering of the upper class members of society.
And I remember above table, I remember when I went, I discussed some sort of investment with them, right? Or contract or something.
They said that you would have to speak with the manager, who was not in.
Okay, so I at least have some sort of cover to be there tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, Monday.
Yep. You kept saying tomorrow, but it's the Monday. Okay.
Alright, I do not think there is anything else, but if there is, I shall send you a message over the stone.
He says, well, I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. And he smiles.
Insight check.
Yeah, give me an insight.
God damn it.
Yeah, you're clueless.
That tracks. Be
Catching
careful.
on to everything else, but missing that.
Be careful, Caden.
He nods always.
I'll get up and start heading back to the school.
Okay. Let's change the music. Psh. Let's do this one. All right. So, what is everybody else doing? We're making good progress today.
Like I said, Malakar's in his wolf form and he's trying to sniff out some fucking rats down in Lowtown.
Okay. Given that that's what you're doing, give me an investigation or a perception.
Would that be with advantage due to the senses of the wolf? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'll allow that. You also sort of know better now what to look for. So
Thank
yeah,
goodness.
with an 18. So let me see. I've got some notes here. As you're sort of walking around, you can see that there's an increased number of city watch on patrol in Lowtown. You also notice that there are clerics out on the streets, good to the king's word, who are proselytizing. Some of them are talking about like heresy and curses and filth, and trying to pull people in to cleanse them. Under various sort of different, almost like street preachers. There's more than normal, and they seem to be pretty evenly spaced about Lowtown, trying to cover a large area. You hear a couple of witnesses are talking about having seen some rats outside of an area called Dredger's Lane. And they talk about a swarm of rats dancing in a circle in the street at night. You hear a merchant talk about his guard dog would not go into his kennel after they heard after the dog had, or after there had been sounds of skittering underneath the kennel. But your investigation, like as you're making your way through the streets, you find what appears to be an abandoned rat nest with inconclusive results, claw marks, maybe some faint necromantic residue, like some lingering magic in the air. Nearby disrupted food stores, and the nest itself seems to be made of human hair and paper warding glyphs that have been ripped up.
How charming.
But that's what your investigation yields. You don't find any actual rats. I mean, you find regular rats. You find those, but not vampiric rats.
Can't follow the trail from the nest outward anywhere.
I mean, you can try, and like again, if you go in that general area, you do find more sort of similar like things to what I just described, like abandoned nests. But it seems like if they were here, they're not here now, is the feeling you get.
Interesting.
Go away, Nico. Go on. Go. The cat? Yeah.
I guess I will return to my dorm.
Okay.
Eventually he'll get tired of looking and just be like, fuck.
You do cover a pretty large area, and just for the sake of it, I'm gonna draw like on the map that you've covered this whole section of Lowtown. I'm just gonna put this in red.
And I think at night I'm gonna wait and see if I can find any of these rats doing circles, but that's not right now.
Okay. Yeah, again, you don't find any, not in this area. And the Dredger's Row that was mentioned would also be within this area.
Oh, was I searching at night?
Oh, I mean, this will be like that check will be for the whole day.
Oh, I see.
Including the night. I mean, as somebody has pointed out to me, this is like a 4-mile radius circle, something like that. So. Anyway.
I mean, that's all I had. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. No, I mean it's not. Well, I shouldn't speak too much. All right.
No, please do.
So that's Odin. That's Malakar. We'll start with Elias. Is there anything specific you would like to be working on, looking into?
No idea.
You do have a lead, something on your person that you brought up in the meeting
Yes.
that you've since forgotten about.
The diary.
You have a name. There's a name in the diary. Find
You
the
have
name.
you have other things as well that were brought up related. We'll come back to Elias. Or is there anything you wanted to look into? Okay. Is there anything in particular that you're trying to prep? Okay. You know that you're also meant to meet with the king on the next day, so you can discuss anything that the king might provide that be helpful. Okay. And Nura, is there anything you would like to look into?
I wanted to go back to the shop and see if I can track the scent of the father or the daughter. I know it's been a hot second, but I think it's only been like a day, we said.
So you're looking for the scent of Navarro, is what you're saying?
Yeah, or his daughter.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably his daughter, because we have like a piece of paper that I can check scent on first. I'm going to turn into a hyena because they got an excellent sense of smell.
So you arrive to Navarro's clinic, and you can see the building is now like a burning husk. There's some people like taking down parts of the building so that it can't like catch and light anything else on fire. There's the slow work of deconstructing the remains of the building has begun, and you can see there's a few onlookers, like locals, like watching from a distance. Like everybody seems a little bit sad, but I mean, they seem a little off-put by a hyena in the middle of the city. But people keep a distance from you and sort of give you a wary look.
I'm still wearing my head wrap in my hyena getup.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
you know, to let people know that it's not just like an escaped zoo hyena or something.
Oh, it's some kind of weird druid stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
They still give you wary looks. Like, that's weird, but they don't.
Yeah. Well, they do live underneath a magic school, so, you know, get over it and all that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I'm going to start seeing if I can follow scent.
Okay, can you describe for me a little bit, like, what you're trying to catch on to as far as a scent? Or perhaps do you bring some kind of article that you already have that you can use as reference?
I requested the picture or the journal.
Okay, I think Elias has the journal. Whether Malakar gave the picture back to you.
Yeah, if you ask him for it, you definitely can have it.
Yeah, I shall take that with me so that I can check it when I'm a hyena.
Okay. Let me zoom in here. I gotta put something on the map. It's so nice to have a foreground layer now.
Haven't had a chance to play with it yet.
Give me a perception check with advantage.
Okay. What did you say?
Perception with advantage.
Okay, cool. Come on. Sorry, my internet's having a bit of a stronk at this moment. There we go. 23.
Dang. Okay. Yeah, you follow the scent of. It's a combined scent, a recent scent, from Dr. Navarro and Sophia both. And as you get closer, the scent of Sophia gets stronger. You find your way eventually to what appears to be an orphanage. There's a sign outside that reads, Willow Shade Refuge. It's one of the few places that looks better than it should in such a rough district. The shutters are painted, the windows are reinforced, and thick rags muffle sound from the outside world in sort of gaps. Rather well-kept looking orphanage on the edge of Lowtown.
Does the scent go in there?
It does.
Time to go traumatize some children.
I shall continue following the scent.
Okay.
Surprise, hyena!
Let me run to the bathroom real quick. Let's take a quick 5-minute break. This is this scene might take a few minutes.
Nura's
He's
like,
I gotta go get a drink.
Nura's like, the sound of screaming children.
Yeah. Oh.
She's like,
No
hyenas
one
are
can-
adorable. Why would
dude.
anyone be afraid?
Yo,
I've got a
Never
scarf on
get
my
it.
head.
I didn't mean
I
it,
said
eh?
3 hyena
I
day.
mean, like, if you're making fences,
the hyena
like,
have a
might
scarf?
as well make them nice.
Yes.
Nice fences
I
and
am a
nice.
hyena with a scarf on my head.
Is that it? Just
I have returned.
Welcome, Borg.
Welcome back.
Hello.
He pulled out the Navarro theme song trap card.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really a trap if you knowingly trip it?
Oh. I like that we've made like a month's worth of progress in today's session.
Had to make up for all the dilly-dallying we usually do.
Well, I figured since Malachard goes unnoticed by them, he'll be fine to keep researching where the fuck they're coming from. Especially if he just turns into a rat with them and is just like, hey, I'm one of you guys. 'Tis I, also just a normal stupid rat.
These ones
Bleh,
are
it's
tough,
me.
though. Blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did notice while you were fighting them that they didn't seem particularly interested in you, except for the fact that you were actively harming them.
Yeah, that's why I figure the next time I show up, I just be chill and follow them. It is a learning experience, you see.
We have learned that you are not tasty.
I think I've learned that they realize that I'm like them, and they're like, ew, there's nothing to eat there.
That's what I said. Not tasty.
But I think I also share the exact same curse with them too, so that probably helps. Because it sounds like they're being made with Callison's blood. And if that's the case, then it's the exact same curse.
Alright, one more minute. I like the hyena gifts.
Thank you.
Alright, continuing. As you approach the orphanage, a couple of kids who were playing outside turn and face you, and the younger of the two children turns to you and exclaims, "Oh, a puppy!" and comes running towards you with their arms up in the air like they're ready to hug you.
I shall
No.
allow hugs.
I wanted screams.
No child looks at a hyena and immediately screams. It's a puppy.
The
Now
other
that's
kid, a little bit older, a little bit wiser, yells, "No, you fool! That's not a puppy!" But it's too late. The small child is already embracing them.
I shall do the head wrap thing that dogs do, where they wrap their neck around you as best they can.
Oh, and the other dog is like, or the other child is like, oh,
Maybe it
the
is
dog
a
has-
puppy.
the dog has a head wrap on. Nice puppy. And they walk over and go to pat you on the head.
I will happily receive my pats.
Huh. And the younger one says to you, "Come on, I gotta show the other kids." And he'll try and lead you. He gets down on his knee and holds out his hand like he's trying to give you a treat, and tries to lure you into the orphanage.
Absolutely, I've been invited in.
All right.
I'm allowed in here now.
Vampire Logic 101.
As you go inside, you start to gather a small crowd. At first, it's just the two, and then three, and then a half a dozen, and then a dozen, and then from the chaos of everybody enjoying your presence, you hear a shrill cry from apparently an older woman. "Oh, what's going on?"
I am busy giving everyone the sniff check to try and find the kid I'm looking for.
Okay. And none of them smell like Sophia, but you can definitely smell Sophia from inside this building.
Excellent.
And as you're sort of sniffing around these kids, and they're all trying to pet you and like talking about what a weird dog you are, and commenting on your headdress. An older lady, I don't have an art for her, calls out, what's going on? Oh my! Children, no! Step away, please! And she is an elderly woman, apparently the matron of this orphanage. She puts her hands on her hips and says, "You're clearly not an animal. Can I help you?"
I will. I closed my stupid sheet. I will use psionic mind to say, yes, please. I am looking for one Sophia.
She looks like shooken by the fact that you're speaking to her in her mind, and she replies out loud, "Sophia, yes. Well, please follow me."
I will give a head bob and follow her.
All the kids look sad as she leads you away. A couple of them like reach out and pat you on the back as you walk past them. She leads you into her office. On the door of the office, you can see is a simple name, Matron Alina, and she's spelled. And she is a halfling. Let's see. Well, I would offer you tea, but perhaps a cookie will work instead. And she'll place down a small saucer with a couple cookies in a chair facing opposite hers, and she'll sit down. You're looking for Sophia Navarro?
Yes, that is the one.
She is here. She is resting.
She has had a very difficult past couple days, from what I understand.
She nods, and you can tell she's trying to gauge you, but she's having a really hard time because you are not in your humanoid form. It would be easier to know if I could trust you if I could see your face.
Ah, yes. My apologies.
And I will kind of like give my head the dog shake and like basically shake off my my wild shape and slowly kind of turn back into myself.
I apologize. My regular face is not much more expressive. Scales and all.
She nods slowly. Tell me, why are you here looking for Sophia?
I was helping with put out the fire and making sure no one was left behind when her home was burning, and we could not find her or her father. So I wish to be sure that she is all right, and make sure there is not, and ask her if there is anything I can do for her as a fellow soothsayer.
Yeah, give me an insight. With a 12, you can see like some tension is removed from her face. You see her pull her hand out, like she had one hand above the desk and one under the desk. And you see her pull her other hand out and set it on the desk, and like her hands clasp. She seems to relax a little bit. Oh, right. I was afraid maybe you were here to harm the child. And she rubs her brow. As you say, it has been a long day for that child. Poor sweet Sophia. Well, she is safe. She is here. She is resting, as I said. Dr. Navarro came by, and she thinks, trying to think. Suppose it would have been the day of the fire. He came by before. He seemed shaken. Well, I guess first you should understand why he came here. Dr. Navarro, he was a regular patron to our establishment. He gave much of his wealth to the orphanage and asked only that I take care of those burdened with plague. The whole West Wing, you see, is dedicated to patients sick with the spell plague.
I see. It is becoming more prominent.
She shakes her head. Well, no, I think Dr. Navarro simply he seeks to help them. He brings them from far and wide to make sure they get treatment.
How noble.
So when he showed up unannounced, clutching young Sophia, unconscious and feverish, I didn't question him. She looked sick and he looked sleep-deprived, drenched in sweat, and they were both shaken. He was holding one of her sketches. I didn't get a good look, but whatever it was, it couldn't have been good. He asked me to keep an eye on her. He said he was going to return after he collected something important from the clinic. But he never did come back.
I can assure you he did not perish in the clinic fire. That we do know.
She looks relieved. That is good. Well, I only hope that no ill has fallen the man. The children would be glad to hear as well.
Of course. It could simply be that he's lying low for now, and will return when he is able. May I speak with Sophia in the meantime?
Well, you can try, but she has been in a deep slumber for most of the day. She only got up to eat her meal and then went back to sleep. I fear that whatever drawings she made most recently must have taken quite a lot out of her.
I would attempt to try anyway, if it is all right with you.
She nods. Well, friend of Dr. Navarro and Sophia, have no reason to deny you. Come. And she stands up with like a ring of keys and will lead you towards the West Wing.
I will follow her.
And she leads you into like a large chamber. As you're walking through this chamber, you can see a number of children sort of playing in this area. And as you're passing, you see one of them is giggling, and he throws a toy, and then another one like goes to catch it, but right before it reaches them, it stops in midair and floats. And the boy who threw it starts giggling, and you see suddenly his nose starts to bleed, and he starts to hiccup rapidly. And then another child yells, "No, Jork, no, you can't. Doctor said we're not supposed to. You need to calm down." And you see these kids almost immediately, as if trained, form a small circle. They all sit cross-legged, and they begin to practice their breathing, as if trying to calm themselves. She, the matron turns to you, watching this as you pass. Flare-ups like that are common amongst children infected with the plague, I'm afraid. But the techniques that Dr. Navarro taught them seem to be doing wonders. They've had some semblance of normal life.
It is not an easy affliction to deal with, especially in one so young.
She nods grimly. Well, Sophia's just in here. And she'll lead you to a small sort of side chamber. You can tell is maybe meant for those who are especially ill, like a sick chamber or something. And she'll come and kneel next to Sophia's bedside and whisper, Sophia, you have a friend here to see you." And Sophia sort of does a big yawn and stretches her arms, rubs her eyes, looks up at you and says, "Oh, you're the one with the pretty horns. Nira." She sits up in her bed.
Yes, that's me. How are you feeling, Sophia?
Oh, I'm really tired today. And she looks around and, "Where are your friends? Where is, And she thinks for a moment. "Odin. Where is Odin? Did he not come with you?"
No. Everybody is very busy right now, running around doing different things that are important. But I returned to check on you, make sure you are all right.
Well, I'm good. I got lots of sleep. Lady Elena here has been very kind to me. She says Papa will be along soon. played with the other kids here before. When Father had to leave on business.
I see.
She sits up a little bit further and reaches for like a glass of water next to her bedside. Takes a sip of it. And she just sort of smiles and looks at you. Well, I'm happy you came to see me.
I'm very pleased to find you safe here. I found your last picture.
And she looks like she's trying to recall for a moment, and then she looks a little scared, almost starts to cry, and the matron like looks at you like, what did you do? And Sophia,
It is all right. We are very happy to have found it. It may seem scary, but it is helping us. Thank you, Sophia. I will say, taking her hand.
Callison,
I know.
she looks hurt.
Yes. And she might be at the moment, but we are looking for her, and now we have an idea. And we will be sure she gets better.
She nods and sniffles, and she rubs her eyes.
All pain is temporary, child, and will not follow us into the next life.
She nods. Somehow understanding your sage words as a small child. I just hope Callison is okay.
You wouldn't happen to know would she?
I heard. Is that the same picture that your father saw, or did he bring a different one when he dropped you off to be with the other children?
That was the one.
I see.
I think I need to take a nap.
Rest. It is all right.
And she nods and she rubs her eyes again and sort of leans back and smiles and says, "It's good to see you again. Tell Odin that he should be safe too."
Of course.
And it doesn't take long for her to fall asleep again.
I will stand and look over to the matron.
She looks at you and she's like got a handkerchief like over her nose and sort of blows. Well, I hope you got whatever answers you came here for. As you can see, the child is safe. I'll make sure no harm comes to her.
Thank you. That was my main concern in this endeavor.
She nods.
If you need any help or if she needs anything, you may. I would like to know and help where I can.
She nods. I am rather short-staffed, so I won't say no to any aid you can send our way.
I will see what I can do.
She nods. All right. Well, this building is a maze. Here, let me show you the way out.
I will follow her out.
All right. That is scene.
Huzzah! The child lives.
Grim, if it's possible, unless you have other plans, I don't want to wait until tomorrow, being in character Sunday, to go see the collector. So if I can, I will not go back to Avalon after leaving Caden. I will head towards the Grimward Way.
Request denied. I need
Okay.
time to build out that character's persona and descriptions
Also,
and stuff.
if it's the guy I'm thinking of, he does have a name. We did establish a name.
Yeah,
It's not that guy.
I don't have the notes. I'm not prepared to introduce that NPC yet.
Okay. But we did establish a
It
name.
is who you're thinking of. I just am not prepared for that. All right. So we still got a little bit longer. Is there anything else anybody else would like to do today? Elias, we can come back to you if you thought of anything.
Still nothing. I did search for the text that I wanted. We did that like a session ago.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What else can I do at the moment?
There's a name in the book.
In the book or the diary?
The journal.
Yeah. Oh, look where. I don't know.
Nura shall go to tell Odin that she found Sophia and that Sophia tells him to stay well and safe.
Odin is heartily relieved that Sophia is alive. And it sounds like potentially Dr. Navarro is as well. But are you suggesting that he took Sophia to the orphanage and then left her there to go back to the clinic? And that is where you found the drawing? He took the drawing with her, or with himself, and left it in her room?
That does seem to be what happened. I could attempt to track his scent from there, but I have nothing of his. I had Sophia's drawing, so I could track her, but I do not have anything of his.
Could you not smell him on her?
I can definitely.
You would have smelled their scents intermingling at the clinic, or at the what do you call the orphanage?
Yeah, I did smell it intermingling at the orphanage, but the problem is that there are so many other scents at the same time. It's hard to distinguish what is his by itself.
Perhaps there might be something that we missed at the clinic itself. I know that they are currently demolishing the building, but perhaps somewhere along the way, the path between, the most obvious path, at least between the clinic and the orphanage, if you trailed that, you might be able to pick up the scent. I'm just spitballing ideas.
I can probably do it. It would be easier if I had something of his. Should
I know
I?
that Elias has his journal. Perhaps that might work.
That will absolutely work. Yes, that should work fine. Is this something I should follow up on my own? If he is in danger, there is a possibility that there could be trouble, which is why I decided to come back first before attempting to track him
That
on my own.
is a wise precaution, and the difficulty, I think, is, if I'm not mistaken, the Round Table, or at least the King, has placed out a warrant for Dr. Navarro's arrest. We can try and see if that can be revoked, but doing so might draw the attention of others we do not wish to. I just mean to be cautious. I do not trust anyone or any group of people, not least the King. Well, that's not true. I mean, it's true that Odin doesn't trust anybody, but he wants to be precautious, and asking for the warrant for Navarro's arrest to be revoked might draw undue attention. It's not that I don't trust. It's not that I don't trust the King, but whoever is at play behind the scenes here, I imagine, has their fingers in many pies. And if, say, the King were to have a mole or someone within his organization working against his interest, I do not wish to draw their attention any further than we might have already.
So keep the group small or confined to us, at least. Is your suggestion? Or perhaps it would be better for me to go on my own?
I would say yes. Keep Navarro and his daughter's status, for lack of a better term, between us. Just us, meaning the party. And if you feel comfortable to go on your own, do so. But if it seems too dangerous to interact with him, if you find him, or if he is in any danger that you cannot immediately assist him with, contact us immediately and we will come, of course. I will come, at least.
Of course. I will take your advice on this.
I think I will pull out the sending stone and inform Caden so he can put one of his super secret. I don't know how many people he has at his disposal, but I
Not
trust
as many as you're
Caden.
thinking.
Okay. Well, I do trust Caden to tell him this. And I'll do this in front of Nura as well, just to let him know where Sophia is, that she's okay, and that we believe Vicente might be alive.
Okay.
Should we wish to speak with Sophia again, even if she is not conscious, I can contact her in her dreams.
Again, you just get like a kind of a look from Odin. He's like,
"That's nice, dear."
Okay. I will leave I will leave the magic to you. I am not well versed enough in the school of magic that you are to dictate otherwise, so do as you see fit.
That is more of a me thing than a general magic thing. But regardless, I'm just letting you know in case you had questions, specifically at any point you wanted to ask.
Of course, I will keep it in mind. Thank you, Nora. This is excellent work.
I will give him a nod. Say, yes, and I remember your request from before about expanding friendship, and I will do that when we are back in classes. If that is what is happening. Yes.
I think Odin's brow furrows up and his like forehead wrinkles a little bit, and he just gives her kind of like a taken aback smile, and he just nods.
I'll study him for a second. Just to clarify, you spoke about befriending Ashanti to me, yes?
Ah, that matter. Yes, well, I do not want to put you in any sort of uncomfortable position you feel you are not capable of filling. The impetus behind doing such a thing would be to help keep a closer eye on the activities of Bastien Moreau. He's, as you are, I'm sure, aware by now, a long-term rival of mine, but you and Ashanti seem to both share similar proclivities, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she is from the same region of the world as you are?
He's at least from Aravina.
And she has the Aravina look about her, yes.
If you feel you have enough in common to not arouse suspicion, but are able to keep her close enough to perhaps take advantage of her relationship with Bastien, it could prove advantageous in the future. That is what I'm saying.
Let's see. I will nod. Perhaps she, perhaps if she is familiar with magic as she would be going to this school, she is aware of the tower. It seems like a good starting point for conversation. Occupation in the tower is the primary basis of most of my relationships.
If you believe that to be the best way forward, I trust your instinct.
Fool.
But as I recall, the day that Bastien stood up against me in Grimshaw's class, and we had the duel, and you stood, and Malakar stood for me, while Evandrin and Ashanti stood for him. You both seem to share a mutual respect of some sort. I keyed in on that. That is the only reason I am asking this of you now.
Ah, yes. She did like my starry form. I recall that. That did happen some time ago.
And we have not encountered them since, but I suspect that will not be the case for much longer. I do not know the depth of their relationship, but if you can further coddle the relationship that you might share with her, then it might prove advantageous. Or she could try and recruit you against me. I would not put it against Bastien to try and have his underlings turn you against me in some sort. They might say anything to get you to doubt me or mine, but do not listen to them. Give them no quarter in that regard.
I will nod. I am more familiar with you than them, and destiny has brought us together.
I question the logic of making Nura into a political spy, but
oh, it's a terrible, terrible plan. But
I feel like
she's
it's crazy.
for it.
I feel like it's crazy enough it could work. Okay. Who would suspect Nura Day of being a political spy?
To be fair, Nura Day doesn't even suspect right now.
That is the genius in my plan.
Oh, we're making friends? Okay, I'll be
exactly.
I can make friends.
I feel like if someone were to put Nura into a circle of truth and say, "Are you a spy for Odin Cartoneau?" she would say no, and it would ping. It would not ping her as lying at all.
Yeah, but Once Nura learns that you're using her, won't she be betrayed?
Oh no, I feel like I just told her what the whole. I mean, I'm not hiding anything. Odin literally just said out loud, "Okay, this is why we're looking to gain insight into these
It's a
other people."
misunderstanding.
I literally told Nara up front verbatim what I'm looking to do, and she seems cool with it.
He has spelt it out, and she's a bit of a dirt monger. Get out of here. Gross. Our
Cat?
dog got... No. My mom's dog got sprayed by a skunk yesterday. She still
Ooh.
stinks so bad.
Ooh. That is unfortunate.
It is most unfortunate.
And again, Nora, if at any point you feel uncomfortable doing this, or they ask you to do something that you would not, I don't expect anything of you. Do as your heart dictates.
Of course. I am very good at... What was the phrasing you used? Following instincts?
He nods along with her.
All right, we have a master plan. 2 master plans. I'm going to write them down before I forget.
Okay. We got about 20 more minutes. Is there anything else anybody wants to do? Folks, this is your moment to shine if you've thought of anything. That being the case, I think we can move to the next day. Is this, which layer is this on? Oh, I put it on the 4 layer. Nice. Okay. We'll probably upgrade that little table with the dates y'all are, the things you're wanting to do.
I cannot find Sophia's father's name to write down.
Vicente Navarro?
I just don't know how to spell it.
Vicinte.
Ah, thank you.
Vicente. I was wrong.
All right, the next day comes around. If there's nothing in particular that you're wanting to do, you are scheduled to meet with the king.
I was going to track sense before then, attempt to for Dr. Navarro, but that could wait if we're doing other things.
We can retroactively do that at the start of the next session.
All right,
might
I just
also
didn't want to
have-
yeah.
We might also have to retroactively have me going to Grimward Way before the next session as well.
If we have, I guess there wouldn't be enough time.
I mean, I had the whole day. I just went to go
Yeah.
talk to Caden. That was it.
Yeah.
And I guess Tanera as well. Unless we push the meeting with the king later in the day and Sunday, so I have some time early Sunday to do what I want to do.
You could, but either way, I'm not prepared for that.
By next session?
Yeah, for next session, yes.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Retroactively.
Yes, but we could meet. We could potentially meet with the king now because I'm ready for that already.
Right, but I'm not. I need to talk to the collector before I see the king. With what I plan to do.
Disgusting.
If he wants me to
Okay.
pay him, I need to know how much to ask the king. Essentially, is the single piece of information that I need. But there's other minutia that I want to work through as well.
Fine. We'll end session here then. Ugh. Twist my arm.
How could you make him?
I mean, I
take
could
more
just
prep time.
we could meet with the king, and I could literally just ask for like a lump sum of money and hope that it's enough to cover what I want to do with the collector. But
$1
I
billion.
think you're misinterpreting the collector and what the collector wants. The collector it's not
He
their
wants
actual name.
collecting things.
Yeah, he wants oddities. But
Surely
we'll
he's got enough monies.
That's it. So we will not be playing our normal game next Sunday, simply because I am on call again. It's come around every 9 weeks. I'm on call for a week, and I might get a call in the middle of session, which would interrupt session. That being the case, there have been far fewer on-call issues after hours the past 2 months. So I'm hopeful that there won't be anything and that we could play. So that being the case, rather than playing our normal game and risking getting interrupted, I would like to continue the side adventure. So we can do that next Sunday. So we'll still play for those who are available, and but we won't be playing the main adventure. We'll be doing the side adventure with Slowtown Looms.
Yeah.
And we'll probably finish that out. The origins of the Heralds of Reversion.
I love that because that lines up what comes after next perfectly, I think.
Yeah, I think we've made a lot of progress in this session. I'll say, part of it was me like, okay, how can I make this go a little smoother? But also, you've gotten to the point where you've uncovered most of the threads, and you just got to start eliminating stuff that doesn't matter. So soon,
We got all our threads. Get to weaving, boys.
I think that we could fight the mid boss of this adventure as soon as next session.
Sweet.
And we could fight the actual boss by the end of next month, like July. But that depends on you guys.
All right. Well, I will catch you guys later. I need to start cooking food.
I need to find dinner.
All right.
I
Bye.
need to go recharge.
Bye.
Hey, Grim.
Oh, who's doing recap?
I will, I promise. But you got to remind me. You have to remind me. I need to still write the letter that I was going to write.